Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm fresh off homework on the Orlando Magic. I've been watching Orlando Magic highlights pretty much all morning for the last, off and on for the last 2 hours, basically. Catching up on them. Not really the intent of really looking for anything specific, just to lay eyes on them as a team. Seeing what they've been up to. They've been winning a whole lot. They've won 8 out of their last 9 games, and the only game they lost was a game against the Hawks that came down to DeJounte Murray making free throws. They had every opportunity to win that game as well. And the thing that really surprises me is the efficiency from which they're shooting the ball. When we talk about teams having good three-point shooting discipline and all these different teams that we faced, the majority of them that I've studied don't shoot the ball well if they shoot at volume. And what that means at volume means to me they're going to probably shoot over 25 a night. Teams that shoot too much generally shoot over 40. 40 is like when you're shooting too much. 25 is when you don't shoot that much. That's what the consistency is. This team has a sweet medium about themselves. They shoot probably around 36 a night. But given that they haven't lost very much, the one consistency is they're shooting above 46% from behind the arc just about every time they get out there. Everybody's hitting the three. So even though you're not really looking at them as a three-point shooting team per se, judging by by the homework I've done, they're one of the best three-point shooting teams I've done homework on. I don't know who else is out there. It's a lot of teams we haven't seen, obviously, and that's just as far as I could tell. But this might be the best three-point shooting team we've seen since the Utah team that blew us out by whatever it was. We seen them back-to-back, and they scored like 150 on us a night. Yeah, this is another one of those. Only I could argue they're better than Utah. Even though Utah was like the best team in the league at that particular moment, this team is we're kind of meeting them in that same way in terms of where Utah was at that moment when they faced us. This is where Orlando is in this moment when we see them. They're just peaking. They're coming off a game where they beat the San Antonio Spurs pretty handily, as they've beaten everybody else, man. And the thing about this team is that when you take into account all the big players that they have, it's about 6 guys that they have in this rotation that are close to 7 feet. All of them are able to shoot the three. 3 of them have guard skills, and the other 3 have ridiculous length and interior capabilities. They can all rim protect, and they can put them all on the floor once if they truly want to. Now, they've been running Markelle Fultz at the point guard a lot lately. They like how he's setting people up, and with Jalen Suggs being out, the minutes are there for him to be showcased. Cole Anthony has just come back from injury and now has been back for about 3 or 4 games, so he's healthy, 100%, back to his normal self. And as I told you guys last year, his breakout was real, absolutely real last year. For a good 2 months, he played like an all-star. So that's the level he's capable of playing at. And with so many talented players on this team, he can just come off the bench, rotate, come out, start, whatever. They can do whatever they want to do with their lineup since they have basically an infinite amount of options. They can play any style you need to play, no matter what. If you want to go small, they have small ball players that are still bigger than yours, in terms of they can go small, but they're still tall because all their players have guard skills at like 7 feet. So it's a nightmare trying to match up against them if you're anybody. I mean anybody historically. This is one of those teams that no matter what team you are in the history of the sport, when you come against these 6 players, if you don't have the size to match up with them, you're probably going to get beat. That's how serious the Orlando Magic is as a team right now. And I mean that. It's just you don't see teams very often in the history of the sport that line up this many players that have this particular level of skill set. It's just a new evolution of the game type of thing. And I think it can dominate. I look at the OKC Thunder, and as you guys watched my video earlier, the Laker chat with an emphasis on their Magic, I was telling you guys, I really think this team could do some special stuff. And I exaggerated a little bit. It was 4 a.m. I said they could win like 8 championships in a row if they get wet by Yama, which I don't actually believe. But what I'm saying is whatever the equivalent of an actual domination would be, 2 years of NBA Finals, 3 years NBA Finals, whatever that would be, I think they're capable. They're capable of dominating the Eastern Conference going forward, starting, I don't know, depends on Jason Tatum. It depends on Jason Tatum and the Nets, because I think this team could very easily take off right now. I really do. I think they have the depth. I think those 6 players in particular are ridiculous, and the guards on top of that, have very, very high upside. All three of them, Markelle Fultz, Suggs, and Anthony. So even if they're not necessarily healthy, you never notice. And that's the thing about this team. Unlike most, they have players coming in and out of their lineup. They're missing one of their main guys, two of their main guys, in Okeke and Jonathan Isaac, and you would never know it. You don't even know it. Like I said, there's another guy by the name of Wendell Carter who just came back from injury. So it's a lot of that going on with this team to where they have an entirely huge amount of players that can continue to come back into the lineup and go out of the lineup and heal up fully from whatever it is that their ailments may be, and it not affect the team's winning at all. That's how much depth they hold just naturally as a basketball club. So when you talk about the six, quote unquote, six players that have 7 foot, or 7-footers or whatever, I'm not even talking about Jonathan Isaac. That's 7. I'm not even talking about Chuma Okeke. That's 8. Those are like 8 players besides the power forwards that can all shoot the ball, all play defense, all do ridiculous things. So I'm a firm believer that if this team is 100% fully healthy, they're probably the deepest team in the Eastern Conference. Beyond Boston. I really believe that. Beyond Boston. And I respect what Boston has, but they don't have this. There's just like a few more than Boston has. What Boston has is more refined superstar talent, like a guy like Jason Tatum, to where he's so much more in his prime and current and ready to win than a guy like maybe Paolo Banchero or a guy like Bol Bol. But if Paolo Banchero and Bol Bol tap into who you think they're going to be 2 or 3 years from now, Franz Wagner and those guys, they're better than the Celtics are right now. They're better than those guys. You know what I mean? Because their 4th and 5th guys are better than your Marcus Smarts. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. And your Grant Williams. But these guys, Franz Wagner, Cole Anthony, they're higher level. They're very much a higher level than those guys in Boston. So it gets a little tricky when you start trying to assess what can actually happen in this Eastern Conference when you consider some of these teams like Orlando and Cleveland, with the length that they have. The regular season isn't going to be able to determine whether or not teams can actually beat these teams in 7-game series. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the length to deal with them, they're going to get easy buckets. And if you don't have the depth to deal with them, they're going to outlast you. So, and the thing about the Orlando Magic that I'm learning is, unlike some of these other teams like Detroit and San Antonio, they're not really looking to tank at all. They're not tanking. They seem to be intent on winning basketball games and strategizing to be successful, strategizing for good habits. So their 3-point discipline has been very impressive, and their efficiency is ridiculously good. Now, where they need to improve and where I think the Lakers may be able to have some success is them turning the ball over. They turn the ball over a lot more than most teams we see. They turn the ball over probably an average of like 18 a game. Just about everybody on their team is just coughing it up. Bol, Paolo, all of them. Cole Anthony, they all gave up turnovers in these games that I've been studying. So that's really where they're going to have to get better. But you look at a guy like Franz Wagner, he's playing near stellar basketball. He had a plus 32 against the Spurs. And you look at his brother, Mo, who, of course, was a Laker. We drafted him, had him for a year. And he has now turned into something, as if that wasn't enough of a problem. You got to add him into the mix of 7-footers who can help their team. Now he's close to a double-double, hitting 3-point shots and just playing well above the level that we drafted him to be. And that's one of the reasons why they're on this 8-game winning streak, because Mo Wagner is playing almost as good as Franz Wagner. And Mo is not supposed to be at that level in terms of his draft. But you slap him next to his little brother, heck yeah, he's going to play well. And that's exactly what's happening. You put him, his little brother, and then a bunch of other 7-footers, and then a bunch of super high-level quality lottery pick guards all on one team, and then slap Gary Harris down there, slap Terrence Ross down there for good measure. You know what I'm saying? And you just have a team that I honestly legitimately think is New Orleans East, even though nobody quite – well, they're starting to see it now as they're starting to win, but throughout the summertime, I really legitimately thought this was a playoff team. I mean, the floor is playoffs for this team. Honestly, they have to be intent on losing in order to lose certain games, and I think this is exactly one of those games. Unfortunately, as a Laker fan, this is lopsided, man. Just like I said when we ran into Utah that time when they dropped 135 on us, this is one of those. That team is going to shoot well. They're going to play great defense. That's another thing. Throughout this 8-game winning streak, they've basically been the best team on both sides of the floor. Like, both. Best offensive team and defensive team. They're both. So this is the cream of the crop over the last 2 weeks. The Boston Celtics supposed to be the best team in the league. They beat them both. They beat them both times they saw them back-to-back. two different ways: high scoring game and a low scoring game. Whatever Boston needed, Orlando was able to give it to them on their home floor, on the ball. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in both of those games. So, like I said, if you want to take Orlando lightly, that's cool. But I do not see a team in the Eastern Conference that I legitimately think can match up well with him. Not at all. Maybe the Cleveland Cavaliers. Everybody else, you're in trouble. Toronto has the players as it pertains to, they have the size that you would think can switch everything. But it's almost like the effect the Lakers had against the Dallas Mavericks. It's like, yeah, they're all at size in comparison to the rest of the league, but once you start going up against Orlando, you start seeing that they're shorter than everybody on the Orlando Magic. It's almost like they're running small ball against those boys, and that's what it was, with the exception of some of their centers, guys like Paolo and Franz and Bol. They just doing whatever they want, and so that's what I expect to see the Lakers have to deal with tonight. There was no logical way to give Darvin Ham any bail for the strategy that he ran against the Dallas Mavericks, against the Charlotte Hornets, any of these games, the Phoenix Suns, all these games that we've lost since AD went down. There's really no excuse for the small ball that we've run. You've seen guys who've played very well at the center position not get minutes, and we've run guys like Patrick Beverley, who's consistently struggled as if he's played well. Dennis Schroeder has had some really good moments, but he's also had some really bad moments, and we've played him as if he's been balling out like crazy. I just don't know what the coach is doing. I've had a lot of different videos where I've vented about how I thought we were throwing games, how I thought the NBA was rigged, and all these different things. And I haven't swayed on any of that as I sit here talking to you now. I don't think that there was any logical explanation other than the fact that people are doing things outside of the business of basketball and trying to get results that make them look worse than they are. And I've called people out on this camera a million times, hoping to see some changes. And I wake up in this morning and still see no changes to the Lakers. Not a signed player, not a call up from the G League, no trade, nothing. And so at this point, I can sit here and rah-rah us to death about how the Lakers are a prideful team and that we can beat anybody if we put our head down and try. Box out, shoot the ball well. We should be able to beat anybody. But what I'm telling you is you can play a perfect game of basketball. And if you go out there and run against this team, you probably will not win. Because we are constructed so poorly and they're constructed so perfectly that there should be no reason for them to come out here and not have success if they're fully healthy, as they're expected to be tonight. Simply put, they got a home game where they're coming off a win against a San Antonio team who, they can kind of just spar against, beat them up. All the real teams that they've seen, the Hawks, that beat them up. In a previous matchup, although they did lose that last one against the Hawks. They played them twice in the last couple weeks. They beat them there. They beat the Rockets. A very good Rockets team came into their house, beat them there. This is San Antonio. This is not the worst. Let's say, how do I word this? We are probably just another bad team on the schedule for a team that has a lot of confidence. This is not one of them games where they're looking at it and saying, we need to wake up for this. No. They'll be awake because Bron is on the floor. That's everybody's idol. But at the end of the day, when they look over at our team, it should be a dunkathon. They should feel very good that a coasting style of play should get them out of here with a win. And as a Laker fan, when you hear stuff like that, and when you hear me say that, and I love this team, you have to understand that that's not just my pessimism talking. It's really not. No, that's exactly what I see, man. We ain't got no earthly chance of beating this team if they play to their level of play. Even if we do all that we can at our very best, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to get second chance points. Boxing them out is going to leave us at no avail. They're still going to get to the ball higher. They're going to shoot a better percentage inherently because they're a better shooting team, and they're going to be a foot taller than us in every position, so they're going to see over our heads just like Dallas did. This is a better team than Dallas right now. They are. And Paolo Banchero, as I've told you guys, is one of the best pure scorers in basketball as a rookie. He's one of those special rookies that can come out and very easily be an all-star this year. And I would vote for him to be an all-star this year. I think Paolo Banchero has done enough, even though with the injuries, his team and the way they're playing right now and the way they've played throughout the season, and the way he's played throughout the season, scoring the basketball and getting assists and rebounding the ball, his numbers are comparable to the best players in the Eastern Conference. And I want to see that rookie in the all-star game. I want to see him there. I think he deserves to be there. And this is one of those situations where he's probably going to try to make another case for that tonight against the Lakers, against LeBron James. You know, listen, man, LeBron James playing some of the best basketball he's played as a Laker, and nobody will ever remember it because it's in a losing effort. Because everybody next to him is 5'3". That's really what it is. You know, LeBron James is just in a helpless situation where he can't affect winning, despite playing extremely well. And that's not something he's used to. That's not something people who've rooted for him are used to, but that's the reality of the Los Angeles Lakers right now. He could put up 38 points, 10 rebounds. If he doesn't give us 15 assists, we probably lost. It's that real, and that's why I've been asking for him to try to get assists. But then again, it's like, if he goes for 15 assists and doesn't get us those 30 points, we don't have enough points. You know, guys aren't going to get 15 assists, essentially. He's going to have to, they're not going to make the shots a lot of times, even if he gets the pass off. So we're at such a disadvantage that the only thing I think we could really do for ourselves is try to go extremely big and not worry about the speed. You put the ball in LeBron James's hands to slow the tempo down so they can shoot less shots. They're going to cough the ball up. So what you want to do is limit their possessions, and then on the possessions that they have, try to force them into those turnovers. If they're shooting the number of shots that they normally shoot, you're going to lose just off the strength of that. They're going to shoot threes all night long. Paolo Banchero is a very accurate shooter. Terrence Ross is an accurate shooter. Cole Anthony's an accurate shooter. Franz Wagner's an accurate shooter. All these guys can shoot the ball all night long, especially from straight away. I can't tell you how many times I watch Franz and Paolo shoot from straight away. They step right into it off the dribble, or they can catch and shoot. Both of these guys have no problems with ball handling. And if Bol, my God, the talent that Bol has, and I've been telling you guys that this is somebody I would have put on our team 3 years ago. He would have been doing all this for the Lakers if I was a GM. At no cost to us, because he's still on a rookie contract. Nobody even believed in him until this year. And now he's tearing the league up. And it makes it even worse because he's next to a bunch of guys who just tall as him. I mean, he don't even need to be there. And you look at us and you see how bad we're doing. You don't even need him. They got so many people his size that it's just like he's just icing on the cake. And he's out there twirling around, dribbling the ball through his legs. Man is 7'2", and he's just shooting it from three, shooting from mid-range. He ain't got nobody on our team that can guard that. We ain't got nobody on our team that can even remotely slow him down. Let me make that very clear. Nobody. Not a soul. We don't have that. No one's rostered. So without Anthony Davis, this team should have a good time beating the hell out of us. And if I'm the Lakers, LeBron's not playing this game. I'm not sending him out there to get slaughtered by a bunch of kids. I'm not doing that. He's resting in this game. If I'm running things, he's a scratch. No way in hell. No way in hell. Because what he has to deal with out there is just ridiculous. He's gonna get pummeled, man. Just like anybody we're gonna send out tonight's gonna get pummeled. It's gonna be bad. And that's just all there is to it. Thomas Bryant, you gotta deal with Wendell Carter, you gotta deal with Bamba, you gotta deal with Franz, gotta deal with Bol, gotta deal with Paolo. Do you have any idea how much size that is? That's like 15 tons of people right there. Like literally. They're all 250. I don't know what the hell we gonna do tonight. I'm telling y'all. I've never been more certain of a matchup not being good for a team as this matchup is for us tonight. This is horrible, especially the way we've been running small ball and no Anthony Davis. And this guy don't want to play Damian Jones. This guy don't halfway want to play Troy Brown even. You want to run 5 guards against these guys? You thought 51 points in a quarter was bad? Try that tonight. Try that tonight. I want to see the type of records Orlando break against us if we do that tonight. Paolo Banchero, do that. Put Lonnie Walker on Paolo Banchero tonight. I want to see you do that. Go ahead, coach. Go ahead. You put Patrick Beverly in front of Franz Wagner at any given moment tonight. And just understand that you thought Dallas was bad on Christmas. You ain't seen nothing like what you going to see tonight. And just tell the truth. These are kids. These guys are 21 years old, all 7 feet. And like I said, the guards, they're talented. They would carve us up if they had regular guards out there because of these. If they had regular centers out there, if they had regular centers that weren't superhuman, Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz would still kill us because we don't do well with those type of players. So if Cole Anthony goes off for like 5 threes tonight, you know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised because he's doing that off the bench, just working it into the equation. He's open because everybody else has to be guarded. You can't double team this team. That's another thing. It's like, who you doubling? You gonna double Franz, leave Paolo open? Or you want to leave Bol open? Or how about Terrence Ross over there? You want to leave him open? This is an unguardable basketball team. That's what I've come to understand. As I've watched highlights of this team, I'm like, yo, the league doesn't know it yet, but this team is unguardable. You can't guard these dudes. When they learn how to not turn over the basketball, there's only about 3 teams in the league that can legitimately match up with them, and we're not one of them. I can tell you that. We're not one of them. And some of these manufactured superstar teams that they think are contenders ain't one of them either. If the Clippers run into this team, it's a sweep. Super sweep. You think Zubac's the only big on the team? How are they going to have any success? They're not. And believe you me, they beat these Clippers to start this winning streak. That's how they did it. The Clippers were the first team they knocked off. So understand me. I was listening to Memphis talking about how they need to get some size. If Memphis needs size, and they are over there sitting there with Adams and Jackson Jr., Clark, Williams, if they think they need size to keep up with the team like this and to keep up with the Pelicans, then what do you think we're going to be doing with our Bron, AD, and whatever, Zach LaVine contract, whatever, Bradley? But what you think that's going to do against a team like this? You're going to lose the same way. You put Zach LaVine on the floor today and put AD on the floor today, through our scoring and through AD's defense and LeBron's ability, I think we can push toward this team. But they'll probably still beat us. If we had a full strength with what it is they're dreaming about doing, with the lineup that they got, they probably still beat us. And that's why I'm telling the Lakers to blow this thing up. Because if you don't have something that can match up with a team like this, if you're not building up something that can match up with a team like this, you're going to lose to a team like that. Luckily enough, they're in the Eastern Conference. Unfortunately, OKC, Houston, Memphis, Denver, New Orleans, all those teams are not in the Eastern Conference. And they're big, and we can't match up with them either. So, what's that? What's that? Now, watch it happen. That's the sad thing. You know what I mean? I would love to say, oh, my God, I expect the Lakers to prove me wrong. No, not tonight. This ain't one of them nights. No, ladies and gentlemen, this ain't one of them nights. I don't expect the Lakers to prove me wrong at all. I expect the Lakers to get beat handedly by a team that's pretty much as good as any team put together this year. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's what it is. Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Mo Bamba. God, it keeps going. Cole Anthony. Admiral Schofield is a guy that they've been using. Caleb Houston's another guy, high-level rookie who can shoot the ball. You got to keep an eye on Caleb Houston, too. He'll park it from behind the arc just all day long on you. God, they got so much talent, man. RJ Hampton's a guy on the back of their bench I like, even though he doesn't get a lot of minutes there. And like I said, Wendell Carter's just come back from injury. Wendell Carter is a dude who can kill you by himself. Look, they could remove Bobo, remove Banchero, and just leave themselves with Wendell Carter, Franz Wagner, you know what I'm saying? And the guards, they'd still beat us. They're still better than us. And that's what's like, yo, if I'm Orlando, it might make sense to just rest some of your guys. That's what I'm doing. You ain't gonna see my full team out there against the Lakers. The way they came against the Clippers, I ain't gotta run. What if Franz Wagner rolls an ankle against the lowly Lakers? What if Paul Ball rolls an ankle against the lowly Lakers? If I'm running Orlando, I'm sitting half of them dudes. I can beat y'all with 3 of them guys. I kid you not. I'm gonna be healthy for what? That's how real this is, Lakers. That's it. And I don't like saying these words, but I'm a realist, because when I'm a champion level team speaker, I speak as if we're on that side of things. I'm like, yo, we rest our guys. This team is trash. When we're trash, I speak the same way. I speak the exact same way. I ain't never going to keep anybody from the truth as it pertains to what it is I see. We're garbage. Super garbage. Absolute trash. And if anybody doesn't agree with that, then you're a rah-rah fan that's not paying attention. That's it. So this is what has to happen. The Lakers are going to have to do the impossible. And Orlando is going to have to roll over and basically not play at all. Then, if we play well and they don't do nothing, I think we might be able to get this thing in overtime. I really believe that. I think that. Other than that, hell no, I ain't happening. And look, Brian comes out, scores 50, maybe the kids go shell-shocked. In a situation like that, the kids shell-shocked. They're like, oh, well, we're going up against Brian. You know, maybe they roll over. But the reality is, all they have to do is look in the mirror and realize how big they are, and then just put their bodies in the paint and then watch the Lakers shoot a 3. We're going to brick it. They're going to rebound. They're going to easy buckets. And that Bron stuff is going to be out the window by halftime. Man, This is why this team needs a trade, bro. This is exactly why they need a trade. And some of the stuff they're talking about doing ain't gonna solve these issues, man. They're not. They're not. So, as I've been telling everybody, we're gonna watch this game tonight. Hopefully they can make me look foolish for all the things that I've said, even though I don't. There's no evidence. And then we're gonna get up here tonight, talk more about how the Lakers should probably tear this thing down, because that's the only way you're truly gonna be able to match up with these teams. Is if you tear what you've built down and then build something entirely different that can actually do that. EDL 44. Thank you all for watching.